What is more awesome to see in a movie than a flashy, exciting sword fight? How about a flashy, exciting sword fight where the swords are flippin' lasers? Even after 40 years since they first appeared on the big screen, lightsabers are still cool. That much hasn't changed. But you know what has changed? How the Jedi and Sith use them in combat. Let's dive in and take a look. When Star Wars first hit theaters back in 1977, the lightsaber duel between Obi-Wan Kenobi, an aging Jedi Master, and Darth Vader, his robotically enhanced former apprentice, was a sight to behold, and really got audiences everywhere incredibly excited to see what sort of grand spectacle these lightsabers could bring to the silver screen. Is that a powerful moment between two iconic characters? Absolutely. Is it a key moment in the entire saga? Definitely. Is the fight in of itself all that interesting to watch when compared to the duels that we have gotten since? Not as much. A lot of that comes down to the choreography of the earlier Star Wars movies, and what they drew from for inspiration. The original trilogy based its battles on much more intimate sword combat sports, such as Western fencing and Japanese Kendo styles. That last one is easy to spot, and definitely makes a lot of sense since George Lucas was so heavily inspired by samurai films. Looking at the New Hope duel, for example, it is neither quick nor intensely choreographed, instead showcasing the two combatants striking sporadically and with purpose, as fighters would in fencing and Kendo. Kendo also usually sees its combatants locked close together, and part of the challenge is gaining space to strike a point, which is evident in Obi-Wan and Vader's close stance in the fight. And for the era in which the Tridge, as I like to call it, takes place, this sort of combat makes sense. This isn't the high point of the Jedi. Most of the dueling masters at the time were either dead or so far in hiding that they wouldn't be seen for a long time. So dueling was more simple and slow. During the prequels, however, set during the waning days of the Old Republic, when the Jedi were at their peak, the fighting styles we saw on screen were a lot more bombastic. These films added new inspiration on top of the fencing and Kendo styles. The two big ones that came in during The Phantom Menace were the Chinese forms of Dan Dao and Tai Chi. Dan Dao literally translates into single saber, and often is used to apply to any fight in which a single sword is used without a shield. In terms of Tai Chi influences, this martial art is often performed competitively both with and without a blade. The bladed sections often showcase much more flowing movements that are starkly different from the quick, pointed strikes of fencing or Kendo. So the influence of that is pretty easy to see, especially when you look at the Duel of the Fates from The Phantom Menace. And since the prequels, lightsaber combat has only really expanded from there, incorporating many different styles of martial arts from across the world. Sure, the sequels slowed it down again, making it a much more brutal affair, but projects such as Ahsoka will be utilizing a multitude of styles, with the titular character often switching between them on the fly to suit her needs at the moment. While culturally the Jedi still very much emulate primarily Japanese samurai, the way that they wield their deadly laser swords has become as much of a reflection of the style and personality of the wielder as it is a straight up spectacle. What is your favorite lightsaber sequence of all time? For me, it's a solid tie between the Obi-Wan vs. Anakin duel on Mustafar from Episode 3 and the Luke vs. the Dark Troopers sequence from the end of Mandalorian Season 2. That being said, there are just way too many to choose from.